Welcome to my Ninjutso Origin 1X review. Ninjutso is a new brand that launched this mouse at around the first quarter of 2021, with an aim to provide high quality, lightweight mice without holes in them. The Origin 1X is their first mouse on the market. Strap in because I'll go through what makes this mouse worth your time and hopefully your money. First of all, thank you to Ninjutso for sending this out to me, I very much appreciate it, and like always this will be a completely unbiased review. So this mouse is 121.4mm long, 58mm wide and 39.9mm tall and weighs a light 66 grams. The mouse is using a PAW3335 sensor with a default unchangeable DPI steps being 400, 800, 1600 and 3200, and it has 1000Hz polling rate. The mouse comes in both black and white. So this mouse is using what they describe as the IntelliMouse Explorer shape from Microsoft. That's right, Microsoft. In a previous time where the age of men had just discovered GeoCities, Winamp and Neopets, Microsoft somehow stumbled upon a mouse that would go down as being one of the more comfortable shapes and decent performers for its time. This shape that Ninjutso have chosen aims to shrink it down into a little bit more acceptable standard, as the OG is a little bit chunky, meaning that it would cater a bit too much for palm grip and won't be as universally friendly. This shape overall is very comfortable for my very tight palm grip, but it's also great for claw and fingertip because of its shorter size. My pinky and ring finger sits on the right side of the mouse comfortably without touching the mouse pad. There may be a slight issue for some, and that is the mouse 2 button actually can rub against your finger depending on the placement. The left curve is also smoothly done, so my thumb rests in it in a very snug position and it doesn't push up against my hand. For the coating, it's a soft matte and it's the same coating for both of the colours. I feel like it's slightly similar to Logitech's coating. I really like it and it causes me no discomfort whatsoever and only really gets sticky after the especially long hours of gaming. On the coating you do get a small Ninjutso logo placed on the base of the mouse. For the switches on the mouse 1 and 2, you have the ever popular KLGM 8.0s, which are guaranteed for 80 million clicks. These feel very nice and consistent, which are why they are the go-to for most top tier gaming mice. I feel once you've tried this switch, you'll then really start noticing a lesser quality mouse switch, so you have been warned. This will open the door to a world in which there is no going back from as you become incredibly picky with just the switches. The side buttons are small and have a glossy coating, but are still easy to use with a roll of the thumb. They aren't as crisp as the mouse 1 and 2 switches, but they'll do the job. I think maybe an issue that might show for some is that I find the mouse 5 button, so the closest one to you, is particularly short. The base of my thumb just comes in contact with it comfortably, so it could cause a problem for other people if they have a grip that sits a bit higher up. On the underside of the mouse you have the DPI button on the right and the on-off switch to the left. There was a slight issue with the first version where the DPI button would actually scrape on the mouse pad, but do not worry, this problem no longer exists. The scroll wheel feels very nice as well. It has a nice scroll to it with the notches being very noticeable and consistent. The same applies to the switch itself, so it is most definitely a scroll wheel that I could give a seal of approval. And I shall bestow it. For the dirt check, at the moment it seems fine. I've used this for about a week of constant playing of the video games and it's been okay. The main part that has gathered the most dirt has been the side buttons because of their glossy coating. There are some areas on the right side where it can build up, and there's also a few lines on the shell that dirt can get into, but these are actually quite easy to clean with a toothbrush, and as these lines are a bit further away from the palm rest, it's less likely to get dirty. The feet for this mouse are 100% PTFE, they aren't the biggest and there's also no sensor ring either. This hasn't caused any problems when I've been using it. At first though I was a bit concerned about the lack of sensor ring, especially as many mice that I have used recently have had them to reduce any drag, but here there is none. The wireless technology that they are using, they name the Snappyfire Wireless. Yes, really, it says it right here. They say that you get around 48 hours of battery life on a charge, so that's almost 10 hours a day for 5 days, which is pretty decent. The good thing as well is that the cable that comes with it is really nice and a lightweight paracord cable. So even if you do plug it in, the cable is good enough on its own merit. There is a slight issue though, and that is the USB-C port isn't that friendly to other types of USB-C cables. There is also a lack of battery indicator. Most of the other wireless mice I own have some sort of battery indicator, even if they don't support RGB. As this doesn't have any RGB, it could really just do with a small LED on the top just so you get a warning. Now there is no software. I think this is fine for the very basic features that come with this mouse. I haven't felt a need for software apart from maybe wanting to find out what the battery life is. The sensor for this mouse is a PAW3335, which is a great powerful sensor that's more focused for wireless and battery efficiency. Honestly, I feel that these days most mouse sensors are pretty much flawless for the most part. Not many people would really understand the plight of buying a mouse that have wonky sensors and annoying features implemented by the manufacturers. So in-game use is fantastic. I really love how this mouse feels in-game. The shape and lightweight really helps make it feel super comfortable and effortless to use. I've had some really long grinding sessions and it's been super comfortable to use constantly with no stiffness or anything in my hand during these points. It's one of the nicest mice that I have used for long hours. Sometimes after a 6+ hour sessions I've finished, there's points where I have to stretch my wrist for a bit or I think, wow, I should probably have had a break. But here it's been really comfortable, so it's going to enable me to play for longer, more gaming, less time outside, more time fragging hard, or attempting to. I've been using it on my Vaxi Outset pad, my Xtrify GP4 and the Fnatic Dash, and it's been really nice to use on all three. The price for this is very respectable. It sits at around about $80, £80, €90 at the time of this review, but there are some variations in these pricings depending on availability and resellers. But for what you get in terms of hardware, it is a very good price. I'll touch on this more in a moment. This price does put it on the cheaper side of a wireless mouse compared to some other premium options available, especially when taking into account what you are getting for that money. And you also get some spare mouse feet as well, which is nice. So I highly recommend this mouse. It's a fantastic product for the price, and personally this is a mouse that may become my daily driver for the foreseeable future. This mouse just ticks all the boxes that I want in a mouse: good weight, nice shape and great in-game performance. I think maybe the only thing that could make this a bit better if it was slightly closer to the original IE design, but honestly the size they have now I feel caters to a larger variety of grip types. With this being the first mouse that Ninjutso had brought out, I am very impressed. There has been some issues with quality control at the start, but honestly I think over time they could really become a strong brand in the high performance gaming mouse market, and I really look forward to seeing what they are bringing out in the future.